So here's your heads up. Heads up to the longer podcast. I'm scarred. I'm imperfect. Yay, I say. Yay. Yay? Yeah, I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating and acknowledging that we're all a little bit broken. We're all a little bit damaged. We're all a little bit ismed. And that's great, because that means when we acknowledge it, we are going to change our world in such a wonderful way. And if you'd like to do that, have a listen after the little 15-second intro.
This is Personal Development Unplugged with Paul Clough.
In simplicity, there is genius.
In simplicity, there is genius.
So just to let you know, before we get into the whole of this podcast, when I recorded it, it just went on in a good way. And I felt there's a time when we should split it up in the middle so we can let things just integrate, the thoughts get together, and then hit the second half where we really get deep into the process of being able to look at these imperfections, these scars, and make a difference to our lives. So look out for that. I'm not going to leave you hanging and have you hanging days and days and weeks. It'll come on in the next 3 or 4 days. Okay? So listen to this first half, get into it. And then following few days will come that second half. But I think that'll give you time to really, get your mind processing what we can do. Okay? Here we go. Boom, and we're back with a longer podcast. I'm scared. I'm not scared, I'm scarred. I'm imperfect. That was the title. And I have a question for you. I've got a question. Are you open? Open to what, Cluffy? Open to be honest. Oh, maybe you might think. Honest about what? Well, let me tell you. Let me go through a few things. Have you seen that T-shirt? The T-shirt is advertised on a lot of social media. And it says, I'm broken, with the okay in the middle as brighter. So you see, it looks like I'm okay. But then you read it a little bit closer and it says I'm broken with that funny smiley face with a bandage or two and a cut and things like that and a little plaster. I love it. I bought one. I thought about it for such a long time because I just loved that. Just loved the emoji of it all. I'm broken. And let's admit it. We're all a bit, aren't we? We're all a bit broken somewhere. Some people maybe think they're broken more than others. But we've all got a little bit inside us, I think. There's just a little bit broken. Here's another one for you. Hear it being talked about other people, saying they're damaged. But I'm damaged. Yeah. It could be you speaking, couldn't it? And I hear you. I'm damaged. You are damaged. So am I. And so is every other bugger. Everyone is just a little bit damaged. I don't care what they say. I know they're damaged. Yeah, we do. We are. We're a little bit broken. We're a little bit damaged. Everyone's got a bloody ism. They have. I've got an ism. Perfectionism. Knowing I can never be perfect. I mean, that's a real conflict in itself. And it comes from, I'm not good enough. And we've all got one of those, haven't we? We've all got that. We've all got the other isms. Depressionism. Fear of missing out ism. I'm an imposter ism. We've all got those. We've all got them in bits. We've got little bits of it. Different criteria, not different criteria, different context. I may be as confident as anybody in the world in one context. And I could be a scared little mouse, maybe in another context, maybe not quite scared. But we all think we're an imposter somewhere along the line in a context or other. But you have to be honest. You have to be open to be honest. Somewhere we have these things going on. Maybe not, so they're massive, massive, massive. But if you go through your life and the things you've done maybe yesterday or in the week, and just notice when you just felt a little bit, ooh, that wasn't good. Oh, I felt a bit scared. Felt a little bit broken. Maybe I thought I was missing out. Maybe I thought, bugging me, they'll find me out here. Shall I go on? Shall I go on? Yes, I will go on. I will. I'm going to get personal. Not with you. Not with you, of course. Well, I will. But this is about me. You see, I'm an introvert. Now, is that broken? Maybe. Maybe sometimes when it'll be better to be not extrovert, but be open and connected as opposed to sitting in the corner. Or it feels like I'm sitting in the corner even when I'm in a room with people. Sometimes I think too much. They are thinking too much. And it bogs me down. I wonder why I do that. We don't ask why here. I wonder how, what could I learn from that? But on the other hand, I know sometimes I don't think enough. So again, we've got another dichotomy. We've got another conflict. I get lonely. Do you? Do you ever get lonely? And I don't necessarily mean, like the big pandemic of loneliness that we're experiencing in the world now. But there are times when I just feel quite lonely. Now, whether that's because I'm an only child. And when you're an only child, what do? You think a lot. You talk to yourself. There's no other bugger around to talk to play with. And maybe sometimes that's good. But other times, feel I might be missing out. From siblings. People who maybe protect you, maybe push you up, support you. Maybe they knock you down. I don't know. We're all a little bit like that, are we? Or is that just me? Does any of this resonate with you? What else? What about you? I've been open. I've been honest. I get angry too much. I'm working on that, and it's gone down a lot. At least I think it has. So all these things I'm working at, I'm working on with myself. Some of them aren't quite, they're not very comfortable. But I do know each one of those is just a little bit broken. He's just a little bit damaged. Is a little bit, an ism of some kind. But I know they're all trying, each one is trying to do something for me. It just doesn't feel that way sometimes, does it? If you're feeling a little bit scared. Not scarred this time, but scared. A bit fearful, a bit anxious. So can you say, you don't go through the week and you're not a little bit anxious? If you don't, that's awesome. You crack that code. But is there something else? Maybe a little bit. When you're going to work. Or when, how many of us have that conversation, which we know it's the conversation to have. And we bottle it. I don't know if that's just a UK term, but we bottle it. We not bottle it up. We just bottle it by getting scared. We don't go through with it. And then we think too much. And then we get angry maybe. And then you have thoughts about other people. What do they do? What am I doing? So it's like being an imposter in your own life sometimes. But not massive. Hopefully you can see when I talk to you, I'm reasonably sane. Can hold a bit of a conversation. Communicate, connect. I can learn stuff. I share stuff. But there's these little things in the background. Just inside, and they're going to stay there unless you're open to be honest about them. You have to bring them out in the open, bring them out into the light. Sometimes just bringing these things up into the light of your open mind, is enough to look at it and go, well, I don't know where that came from, but that's not me. Oh, I remember where that came from. Yeah, I can understand how I felt that way, but not anymore. So now I've got to change. I can change. This is a lovely little reframe. But how can you bring them all out into the open? Because I don't want it to be super depressive, because I've come out with my bits. And I'm happy with that. Not happy that I've got them, but I'm happy that, there are things that I can work on. So how do you bring them out in the open? Or maybe you're going to do a Cluffy mind map. And my sort of mind maps are just with a circle and lots of lines coming off. I don't necessarily do lots of lines off lines, but just little headings off each one. So a mind map, my imperfections. Because none of us are perfect, are they? Are we? So it'd be nice just to bring out into the light, into delight, my imperfections. And there'll be a flip side to this, I promise. There is a flip side. If I want to start anywhere, I always start on the down, because I love to finish on a high. So stay with me. But yes, you'll have to get a piece of paper, a book, your puzzle book, your idea book, whatever it is, a piece of paper. Don't do it in your head. Because if you do it in your head, you'll never be able to come back to it. And it's not bringing it into the light, is it? See, I've written these down. And I'm going to do something with them. Well, I'm doing something with them anyway, but I'll explain what I'm doing. So write down draw a little line away from that big circle in the middle of that paper which says my imperfections, and just write them down. Sometimes I think too much. Sometimes I get a little scared and just say the context. Sometimes I get a little anxious about. Sometimes this imposter at work. That's what I feel. Maybe you feel an imposter with your friends. Which is crazy, because I just said in the sentence, your friends. But it isn't crazy, is it? Because that's what we feel. And it's just an emotion. And emotions are there to teach us something until we've learnt it, and then they'll disappear. So that's where we're going. So just write them down and just notice. And we're not going to criticize ourselves. We're certainly not going to edit them. As you think of them, I'll say that a bit more clearly. As you think of them, just write them down. So, I do get lonely. I'm not lonely 100%, but I do get lonely occasionally. I do get sad occasionally. Sometimes the lonely and the sad go together, and I can actually sometimes link those together. In fact, I had a pretty deep experience of that, which is quite weird. I was looking for something really positive, and I came out with loneliness. And that affected me for a day. Not grossly. I could have worn my I'm broken t-shirt for a day, but then I got into it. But I'll tell you how I did that. You see, you have lived, haven't you? You've lived a life. You have life experiences. You've had experiences. Some of them will be absolutely brilliant and give you the confidence to carry on and do other stuff. They will affect other areas of your life. The ripples of that confidence will affect more than one context. But just like that, by having experiences and lived a life, we'll have had a few experiences that have scarred us. Created these little, we could call them imperfections. And I only call them that is because I'd like to change them, and they're never going to be perfect. But they're just little imperfections. And you see, by bringing them into light, weirdly, I want to celebrate them. I want to celebrate being able to be honest with myself. Celebrate being totally authentic with myself. I nearly swore then. Sod the rest. I'm not thinking about other people, about being authentic to everyone out there, because you can't be authentic, really authentic, until you're authentic with yourself, till you're open and honest with yourself. Because that's a safe place to be. You can have a little chat with yourself and go, okay, got to work on this. You talk to yourself with your best friend as your best friend. Okay, Cluffy, so what are you going to do about this loneliness? Well, I changed that, you see, into a superpower. I worked on that. And I'll tell you how that came about, maybe this episode, maybe another episode. See how we get on. But I want to bring them out and celebrate. Celebrate that this is me. Because you see, I've already done a mind map of my qualities. Did that ages ago. And you see, when we're celebrating, we're simply acknowledging our imperfections, the things we would like to change. Bringing them out into the open, to the light of day, as I said before. Because when you acknowledge them, don't accept them. I have this thing about acceptance. If you accept them, you're accepting, in my mind, you're accepting it as it's being okay. It's okay to be, and it is, by the way, but I'd rather just acknowledge this emotion, those emotions, because we acknowledge good emotions, or say positive emotions, and the ones we feel that are negative or give us a negative emotion. We can just acknowledge them, and it takes away their power. As soon as I wrote these things down, they were out. They're not bubbling inside. I'm not trying to push them down. I'm not trying to fight them, because when you fight them, they just get stronger because they're trying to do something for you, and you're going, no, I don't want to learn. And they're going, well, you're going to have this emotion double then until you get it, Cluffy. But as soon as you bring them out, whoa, you get to own it. And just by owning it, I'll say that again properly, just by owning it, you get a little bit more inner confidence. Not like the pain in the ass people who are so ego-led and overconfident. You see, the reason people are that confident is because they're not. They're trying to hide it from you and themselves. I know. They have anxieties, they have fears, they have all those isms. And they're overcompensating. We've all seen those people. They are a pain in the ass. But we've all seen them. And if you could get them one-to-one and to be honest with themselves, they would admit to it. But they're trying to hide it. And the more you hide it, the more you push it down, the more it just fights back, as it were. So that's what I say when we acknowledge these imperfections, in air quotes, we really are being truly authentic. You see, that's when you can really start working on yourself, or working with yourself. See, we sort of celebrate, but I don't want to celebrate them in going, yeah, I'm so pleased I'm a lonely old person who just thinks too much and go, no. Because that's just being a bit of a dick. And that's what I call myself, by the way, not you. I have this thing. Cluffy, sometimes you're a dick, Cluffy. Get back into the world and look at it for what it is. Because that's how I compliment myself. Cluffy, you're a dick. But I've made a little note of this. A well-intentioned dick. Oh, dear. Anyway, you see, we do think, I think we think anyway, that we should be perfect. We have to be perfect. Certainly if you've got, I'm not good enough below the surface, there's another belief. But the behaviors we have and the thoughts we have is, well, if I'm really perfect, no one's going to pick me up. No one can find my fault. And that's never going to happen. Never, ever going to happen. because you're never going to be perfect. That's why I say sometimes celebrate our imperfections, because you might as well, because now they're out. You can celebrate the fact that they're out into the open. Because being perfect is never going to happen. And so on that note, this is where we're going to stop part 1. And all I want you to do is just sit with that mind map. Don't do anything with it. Don't have to think about it for the moment, because it's a tool that we're going to use in part 2. So just get it out on paper. And then in just a couple of days' time, the next one will be out, part 2, and we're really going to make the difference. The difference that makes a difference. Where the ripples of change will go further and wider than you could ever believe. And guess what? It's really simple, because in simple, there's genius, or in simplicity, there's genius. And I really want you to get the best of it, which is why I've split this up in 2 now, so you don't get tired, you can concentrate on one, and then you can really focus on the second part where the change happens. So do have fun. Take a breath. Relax. Do the work. And then we'll be ready. I'm giving you time to make this change so wonderful. There you go. So I'll see you. I'll be with you in the next couple of days. Or in the next, well, put it part 2. It's not going to be very long, okay? Have fun. It's time to fly. Until the next time. Bye-bye.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, welcome to the Personal Development Unplugged podcast. So pleased you're here. Your time is valuable and precious. So what I would like to do is fill that time that you share with me with the most shiny golden nuggets to help improve your life, to get your goals, your wishes, your dreams to come to fruition quicker, bigger, better than you could ever imagine, using your imagination, using hypnosis, using NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, all of that, using all things of the mind. No brain hacks, but real solid processes to deconstruct what people do to become great, and then find the processes that we can install that in ourselves to support you in your dreams and get what you really want in life. Anyway, who am I? I'm Paul Clough, and just going to have conversations with you in this podcast and get you thinking, but also share those processes, because we're going to have so much fun. That's it. We're going to have fun for a change, because we can sit down for a spell and have more fun than we can stand, creating the world we want to live in and be the person we want to be in that world. The only limitation is your imagination. And you got bucket loads, by the way, bucket loads. Have a listen. You really must.